me. I'll see you later. Get off of me. Do not touch me.
Ali Chowdhury must be mad at me. Why do you think so many people accuse you of fraud? The controversial Texas real estate developer has now filed a federal lawsuit against us, accusing Dolcefino Consulting of a calculated and targeted character assassination campaign, calling us a blogger, cooking up crafty montages to imply he's a bad guy. Do not touch the microphone. Why do you think all these people are accusing Ali of fraud?
Why are you fake news?
Chowdhury's lawsuit looks an awful lot like the one already filed by his lawyer, Lloyd Airball Kelly. Are you going to keep banging it? You're going to keep assaulting me?
Is that assault?
Yes.
I thought we were playing basketball.
No, you assaulted me.
Oh. I'm going to watch everything you press. Yeah, I'm going to sue you.
Okay, good.
Because you're going to make a mistake.
Okay.
You hate me. I know you do.
Kelly thinks we engaged in some kind of conspiracy to wiretap him. Recordings made by a former employee who's now blowing the whistle. He says Chowdhury wanted the phone calls recorded.
And you've been listening to hours of my advice to my client that you electronically intercepted and have.
We've been reporting on the mounting court cases accusing Chowdhury of fraud in his real estate dealings. About a dozen separate cases, including this unfinished apartment project on Yale. In one case, Chowdhury's company Jetall was accused of a, quote, rampant foreclosure scheme. Lawyers called it a travesty of justice. You've heard the warnings for yourselves about Mr. Chowdhury.
He's absolutely the most unethical, shady, slimy dirtbag.
You've also heard Lloyd Kelly talking to Chowdhury when he didn't think you'd ever hear what he was saying.
But I'm not putting up with the Ali bullshit.
No.
Ali thinks he's so slick, he can fuck everybody.
No
more.
Both men are trying to block the reporting of those recorded phone conversations that have been made public in court filings, including this one with Kelly where Chowdhury tries to blame him for all the trouble.
Lloyd, I'm pissed off that you told me to do certain things I shouldn't have done. I regret that.
Both say the conversations were recorded illegally by a former Chowdhury employee. That whistleblower swears it was Chowdhury who wanted the conversations recorded.
I divorce you, I divorce you, I divorce you initiates a divorce in Pakistan much like Beetlejuice appears in fiction. That declaration has sparked a $100 million legal fight.
Chowdhury's also mad that we call his fight with his ex-wife the famed Sharia Law case. But her lawyer says Sharia Law is exactly what's on trial here. That Chowdhury allegedly pulled off a scheme to rip off his ex.
You're seeing a really recurring trend happening more and more so where husbands who've been married in Muslim countries are resorting to going, finding some type of reason, ulterior motive to get their wives to go back to their country, visit family, whatever, visa problems.
This week, the ugly multi-million-dollar divorce battle will take center stage at the First Court of Appeals. A visiting judge ruled against Hira Azar. The Pakistani Supreme Court ruled against her too. Not a surprise there.
These are countries that don't represent or recognize marital property rights, no rights for the woman unless she's been given it by contract, and they're often left with nothing.
We understand why the divorce case is such a big deal to Mr. Chowdhury. It could cost him tens of millions of dollars, depending on the outcome. In recent weeks, Chowdhury has faced financial trouble on this West Loop property. If Pakistani law wins out in the end, Chowdhury's ex-wife gets a few bucks. If Texas law prevails, she could get millions.
How in the world can any type of Pakistani divorce that doesn't divide property, that doesn't even recognize marital property, have any type of say and cut off the rights of a wife living in Texas?
This is one of our statements Chowdhury is mad about. We had looked at 50 Briar Hollow early on in our widening investigation of this Houston developer, who's gaining quite the reputation as a real estate racketeer.
I'm trying to minimize risk for all of us, guys, and I mean that.
Recorded conversations with Chowdhury's bankers may come back to bite him. It sounded like he was trying to hide real estate assets from his ex-wife.
The way this was designed for the purposes of the ex-wife is BDFI is a separate entity that I've shown her that I'm not involved in.
From the very first day I met him, he is BDFI. He's negotiated for BDFI. He's represented, he's BDFI.
A phone call with Kelly could add to Chowdhury's problems in the divorce case.
Because of the divorce, I had Brad as my proxy in front. You know that.
That property will likely be involved if the appeals court rules that Texas divorce law trumps what the Pakistani Supreme Court says.